Hello students, this video is going to take you through the next part of the learning map that you will complete during week 2. So we've already identified the content standard, the ELD standard. We went through, talked about what prior knowledge students need to know, identified those concepts and skills or the nouns and the verbs from the standard, talked about what they need to know prior to doing this lesson. And then we come into just maybe some skills and tasks that students might do in a lesson. Remember, we're still not really writing that lesson yet. We're just really understanding what the lesson's going to be about. In this next piece, the goal of this entire section is to write a learning objective. So please note, we're not writing the lesson. We're not really planning specific activities. We're just writing our goals for the lesson or our objective. So this video here, I highly recommend that you listen because it talks you through this entire process. I'm going to kind of jump ahead here because in this section, everything you're doing here is in service of this final learning objective down here. So this template can be a little confusing, so that's why I really want to explain it to you. For this part, don't even worry about this. This is just telling you what it is you're going to be doing. If you want to, you can just delete this from your template. So you're going to want to start here with the strategy. What is the strategy you might use? Are students going to be doing some research? Are they going to work in groups? Are they going to use manipulatives? What is it that, what strategy are you going to use to try to teach into the standard? And this gives us the how of the lesson. Next is the verbs using Bloom's or DOK. So Bloom's taxonomy, how are we using those higher order thinking skills? Are students synthesizing? Are they analyzing? Are they reaching those higher levels? So bring in some verbs from either Bloom's taxonomy or depth of knowledge. Next, you're going to, in this section, describe the circumstances under which this is going to happen. So students using internet links or using links provided by the teacher, using an online manipulative, using an online simulation, or using an in-class lab. So what does it look like that the students are using to meet this objective? And then the criterion is how will you know if they met the objective, okay? And all of those pieces, all right, the circumstances, the criterion, all of that is covered in this video, so that will really help you. After you've finished this, you're just going to write your learning objective. So last week we decided what standard we're teaching, those skills and tasks that are in the standard. And this section, we're really stating a specific objective that we want students to learn. So using an online simulator, okay, or using a simulation online for science, students will understand the distance equals rate times time formula and be able to share their learning using a video of how we use distance times rate times time in the real world. So that's one example of maybe an objective. And after you write your learning objective here, and we give you an example, so you'll just put it in this section right here. Then you're going to write it as an I can statement. So if I'm a principal and I walk into your classroom, I might ask a student, what's your objective for today? And a student might say, I can explain how to use the distance equals rate times time formula in the real world. So it's kind of like a simpler statement of your objective in a way that students can repeat. Then you'll want to include some social emotional learning. Maybe you might be connecting with students to do a check-in at the beginning. You might have students working in groups collaboratively. And then last but not least, you're going to look at misconceptions. So part of being a good teacher is really identifying where your students might get a little confused or what parts of a lesson might be challenging or what part of that standard might be, hard to access. And then that way we can think, wow, well, a student, if they don't understand how to multiply or divide, they might not be able to use that distance equals rate times time formula. So thinking through those things are also beneficial. So again, last week, we just basically said this is the standard. This is what we're teaching into. That was that first part of this piece. The next piece here is just writing that learning objective. And the purpose of this document is to help you write the objective, which you will then write in as an I can statement as a student. What I would say as a student, I can do this, and then identifying any misconceptions. So I hope this video helps and supports you in accomplishing this assignment.